Carolyn Doobie here. What's the play for today? Well, today I'm going to be sublimating a gel print onto a zipper pouch. And this is the one you are going to see me make. Look at all the detail that's there, that's in the fabric. Now this isn't painted on the fabric. It's been sublimated to it, which means it is now a part of it. It's bonded, fused, whatever you want to call it. But it is, all you can feel is the texture of the material. This stuff is now a part of that fabric. Now, how did I do that? Well, I'm using Artesprix sublimation paints on my gel press plate, and I'm going to share with you the entire process in this video. I'm going to start by adding 3 colors of the Artesprix sublimation paint at the top of the plate. And I'm not being shy with this. There is a nice amount that I'm putting on there, but I'm only putting it at the top. For the look that I'm going for, it's important that this paint just stay at the top. Now to spread this along, to get it to go all along that gel press plate, I am going to use a very, very fancy tool to do it. This is probably my favorite thing from the hardware store to use on the plate, and that is a dryer vent. The first couple of times that you roll it through the paint, you won't get a lot to transfer. But as you can see, the more times you do it, the more paint transfers and gives you wonderful little lines of color. Now, speaking of color, you might have noticed that my gel press plate was a little pink before I added the paint. And that's because the red paint here, it does stain the gel plate. That doesn't impact how my gel press plate works. It doesn't impact what the prints look like. It's just a discoloration of the plate. This is a special paint designed for sublimation, but the paper I'm using, there's nothing special about that. That is just plain old cardstock. You can use copy paper, cardstock, whatever you like. Now the colors right now, they don't seem that vibrant, but wait till we're done. They are going to look very different. Now there is some paint still on that plate, and I'm going to add a little bit more to it because there's still paint left on that dryer vent. So I'm continuing to roll it around and just transfer whatever paint I can off of that vent onto the plate. As I've been experimenting around and getting to know the Artesprix paints, one of the things I noticed is that when I use a brayer, the paint tends to bead up for me on my gel press plate. Now, this isn't necessarily a bad thing, because when I was playing around with it with a stencil, I love the look that it created. And I've got that video for you here on the Gel Press channel. I have it linked down below for you so you can check it out. Now we're ready to transfer this onto a zipper pouch. I've taken one of the prints and cut it down to about the size of the zipper pouch. Now what I've got here is some heat tape. I'm going to use that to help me hold it in position once I get it where I want it. Now there is one great big challenge about doing this, and that is if I want to get the whole image to transfer over, it's all got to be very, very flat, which is why I'm putting the image below the zipper, below the hem, seam, whatever part that is, the raised part, because I need to be able to push it super flat so that it will transfer. So that's why I'm making sure that I've got the image below the zipper here. Once I've got it positioned, I've got it securely taped on there. Then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to trim off the excess just to make it a little bit easier to maneuver with. I'm using this little zipper pouch to do the sublimation on. And you might be wondering, is that the only kind of thing you can do this on? Nope. There are so many possibilities out there. If you Google sublimation blank, you will see an amazing array of things that you can do this process on. Now, the thing about sublimation blanks is that they're made with they've got polyester in them or a polyester coating on them. And that is really important to have that for the sublimation process to work. I'm going to create a sandwich here of protective paper. And this protective paper, it's going to prevent any of the paint from bleeding through onto the surface that I've got there, that heating pad that protects my countertop from the heat, as well as any of the color getting stuck onto the heating surface from the heat press that I'm going to put on top of it. This is a siliconized paper so that you're able to use this paper over and over again. Once I've got everything situated the way I want it, I'm going to put the heat press on top of it. And the tricky part for me is getting it all the way over to the edge, but not going up over the zipper or the thick hem, that kind of thing. The reason for that is I've got to have that heat anywhere that I want the image to transfer, wherever I want that pattern to go on that zipper pouch. And if part of it's up on the zipper, if it's raised up just that little bit, it will prevent it from getting that full heat. So that's why I carefully made sure it went to the edge, so I kept everything as flat as possible. And I'm putting some pressure on this. I'm purposely holding it down so that I've got as good a contact as possible. I'm going to do this for 60 seconds at 400 degrees. Now, in a perfect world, nothing will wiggle, nothing will move. It's very important things stay very still in this process so that you don't get any bits of blurriness or smearing of your image. Now, what if you don't have one of these heat presses? Can you use an iron? Yes, you can. But there are a couple of things you want to keep in mind. One, make sure there's no water in it, no steam. The other thing is put your iron on the hottest setting. And you want to make sure that whatever you're transferring is on the flat part of the iron, meaning not where the holes are, that kind of thing, because the holes won't transfer everything as well. All right, so now that it's had its 60 seconds at 400 degrees, it's time to take a peek. Now, of course, I should wait a moment and let it cool because it is very, very hot. But I'm also very, very excited to see if this turned out. The colors are so much more vibrant once it's had that heat applied to it. Now, I am being careful to stay away from the metal parts on this because, wow, this thing really is hot. Thanks so much for joining me for today's play. If you're curious about knowing more about sublimation and Artesprix paints, check out their website at artesprix.com. And if you'd like more ideas, more ways that you can use a gel press plate, because there are so many of them, hit that subscribe button. That way you'll know as soon as Gel Press has a new video out. Thanks so much for letting me be a part of your colorful journey.